Hi, I'm Heidi Ferrer and welcome back to RecovHer YouTube channel. Today we're talking about thinking about drinking. Are you tired of thinking about drinking? Because it can be like an obsessive loop in your head. And I know because I lived it for many years, especially the last decade of my drinking, but before that as well, because I drank for over 30 years. So basically, there's a lot of reasons why we have this obsessive thinking about drinking once we fall into the alcohol trap. And even if you don't identify as having alcoholism, do you find yourself waking up in the morning and thinking, that's it, I'm never drinking again? But by around 4 o'clock, as the day wears on, 5 o'clock, you get home from work and you think, maybe even sooner, maybe by noon, you think, well, maybe I'll just have one, we've had a hard day, just one, and I'll try again tomorrow. And you basically let yourself down, and this cycle can go on for years, many years, I know. And then you find yourself thinking you're gonna have 1 or 2 or 3, and then you feel good again, or at least temporarily good, and then you wake up at maybe 3 in the morning kicking yourself, and the whole cycle starts over again the next morning. Because alcohol affects you in many ways, and this is how it affects your thinking from multiple levels. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, to be clear. But I've experienced this and I've done a lot of research about it, and I've listened to thousands and thousands of stories of people who suffer with alcohol use disorder, alcoholism, drinking problems, etc., addiction. So basically, it affects your neurotransmitters. When you drink, you get a hit of dopamine. Now, dopamine is a natural feel-good chemical that you can produce on your own. You can produce it by eating healthy food, by exercise, hugs, lots of positive, good, healthy for you things can produce dopamine and do. But when you drink alcohol, it's like this fast fix, and it gives you sort of a false hit. So you do feel better. I felt like a euphoric sense when I drank. But what happens is it makes your dopamine drop off the next day, especially if you're heavily drinking or binge drinking. So then the next day you might feel gray. Even if you're not super hungover, you can feel depressed, like something's missing. And something is missing, it's your dopamine. So then you drink again to feel better and get that good feeling again. And that trains your brain, it teaches you that alcohol is necessary for you to feel good. It's necessary for you to feel even normal in some cases. And then with more severe withdrawal, you can also feel nausea. You can also have the shakes. That's not necessarily super severe withdrawal, it depends, but there's something called the DTs, which is delirium tremens. That's a whole nother level. But you can have minor shakiness from the withdrawal. Alcohol also gives you a boost to your blood sugar. And for me, I'm hypoglycemic, and so when I would be hungry, I would drink and I would get a boost of my blood sugar, and it would calm my nerves. Because if I had just eaten in time and kept my blood sugar even, I would have never felt that sort of shakiness, and that I felt I needed the alcohol to cure. So alcohol is a depressant, but of course it depresses your nervous system a little bit, and so it can make your anxiety go down temporarily. And again, it has a kickback in a bad way. It makes your anxiety be far worse later on. It's like pouring gasoline or alcohol on your anxiety. So this thinking about drinking also occurs from a conditioning perspective, because we grow up in a society where we're taught to drink to feel good, drink to celebrate, drink when you have a problem. Are you okay? Let me get you a drink. Honey, you're home from work, let me pour you a drink, 1950s style. And also we've been sort of taught as women that now it's empowering to drink. We can buy our own fancy wine, and this is self-care. But alcohol is not self-care. Let's be clear about that. You also get this addictive voice in your head that some people refer to as the wine witch or the vodka goblin that I've mentioned before in this series, and I'll link to it below. It's called addictive voice recognition. So I won't go all the way back into that, but you hear a voice that you think is you saying, hey, we feel bad, we've had a hard week, let's have a drink, it'll be okay, just this one time. And that is not you. What's important to note is that you are the observer of the voice. You are something beyond the voice. The voice is just your thoughts, and your thoughts are not necessarily you. Who's observing the thought? That's you. That's the essential spirit in you. And it's not your fault. I want you to know that if you are becoming or have become potentially addicted to an addictive substance, and alcohol is a biologically addictive substance, if you repeatedly put that in your body, you are training your brain to a certain extent that is normalized. That is the normal level, and your brain comes to expect that. You can change that though. And the way to stop thinking about drinking, the bad news is you really do have to stop drinking because it's a vicious circle. As long as you continue on with that vicious circle, it's really not going to stop. And I believe there's a few different things. I do believe that it's partially genetic. I believe it's partially conditioning. A lot of people believe that addiction is based in trauma and that the opposite of addiction is connection. And I think all of those things are true. I think it's true in a big soup. So you may not feel you have it in your family and your genetics. I personally do. But there are so many different reasons why you can become addicted to an addictive substance that you repeatedly put in your body. Anyway, so that's our lesson for today. Thinking about drinking, drinking and thinking is very, very normal in this milieu. And we've all been through it, and I've been through it, and you're not alone. So I will have new videos here every Wednesday, usually by 2 p.m. Sometimes I'll produce more than one video a week. So sometimes I'll have 2 or potentially even 3. And follow me for more sober tools and tips here and also on Instagram at RecovHer, on my blog, girltomom.com. And if you want to work with me, which is my cognitive, helping with your thinking, spiritual growth online program, you don't have to fully be wanting to stop drinking to take it. It's called the RecovHer Freedom Breakthrough. I will link to that below. And you can take it self-guided or you can have one-on-one support with me. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe below and see you soon. I love ya.